What has been found in the Sahara Desert will change everything. A revolutionary discovery has just emerged from the depths of the golden sands of the world's largest hot desert. Join us as we discover what the Sahara has been hiding from the entire world. Let's go. Number 15. The Dead Sea Scrolls. This is the mother of all desert discoveries. In the Qumran caves, people found these ancient texts that are like the first draft of the Bible. It's like finding the original source code for a super important program. The scrolls were found in the 40s and 50s, and to this day, scientists are still going crazy studying them. Some were somewhat destroyed, which is normal, right? So much time has passed. But others were preserved as PDF files saved in the cloud. The coolest thing is that every now and then they find more pieces of these texts. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle that people are slowly putting together. Some people believe that there are still many more parchments hidden in the Sahara, just waiting for someone to find them. Number 14. Desert Dinosaurs. The Sahara holds an impressive collection of dinosaur fossils in its sands, including species never seen anywhere else in the world. Renowned paleontologist Paul Sereno led groundbreaking discoveries that have changed our understanding of prehistoric life in the region. Among the most notable finds is a new species of raptor, agile and intelligent predators that dominated the ancient ecosystems of the Sahara. In addition, remains of gigantic predatory fish that inhabited the region's bodies of water have been found, as well as pterosaurs, flying reptiles that patrolled the prehistoric skies. The challenging conditions of the desert, with its extreme temperatures and constantly shifting sands, make excavation work especially challenging. However, each new fossil discovery adds a crucial piece to the puzzle of the Sahara's natural history, revealing a past rich in biodiversity. Number 13. The Mysterious Circles of the Sahara. Satellite images have revealed an intriguing phenomenon on the surface of the desert: perfectly formed circular patterns that resemble the famous crop circles. However, these Sahara circles have a much more practical and surprising origin. These circular formations are part of the Nubian sandstone aquifer system, a vast reservoir of groundwater that extends beneath the desert. The circular markings are the result of modern irrigation practices, where farmers harness the aquifer's water to create productive oases in the middle of the desert. The discovery of these circles not only demonstrates human ingenuity in adapting to extreme environments, but also reveals the presence of substantial water resources hidden beneath the sands of the Sahara. This modern irrigation system connects the present to a distant past, when the region was naturally irrigated by rivers and lakes. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up the biggest curiosities of our world every day. But for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. Number 12. The Libyan Glass. In the vast expanses of desert between Libya and Egypt, travelers occasionally come across something extraordinary: pieces of uniquely colored natural glass scattered across the sand. Libyan glass, as it has become known, tells an explosive story about the Sahara's past. About 29 million years ago, a cataclysmic event changed this region forever. A meteorite crashed into the desert, generating such intense temperatures and pressures that the sand itself melted and turned into glass. The impact was so violent that it produced thousands of glassy fragments that persist to this day, resisting the extreme conditions of the desert. This natural glass has unique properties that made it valuable to ancient civilizations. Analysis has revealed that people from the Peistone period used this material to create tools and weapons, taking advantage of its exceptional hardness and naturally sharp edges. The persistence of this glass over millions of years demonstrates its extraordinary durability, even under the scorching Saharan sun. Number 11. The Lost Treasure Ship. In 2008, a discovery was made that seemed like something out of a pirate movie. The ship Bom Jesus, which had disappeared in 1533, was found buried in the sub-Saharan desert near Namibia. And it didn't stop there. Inside it was a real treasure. The crew found 2,000 pure gold coins and a mountain of copper. It's like winning the lottery, but historical. The Portuguese ship must have been caught in a really bad storm. The region is famous for having rough seas. The craziest thing is that the treasure was there, under the sand, for almost 500 years. While everyone walked right past it without knowing, there was a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. It's like finding a USB stick full of Bitcoin that was lost years ago. Number 10. The Petrified Forest. Between Ubari and other desert towns, an extraordinary discovery reveals a surprising past. An entire forest turned to stone. Fossilized trunks of gigantic trees, some reaching 20 meters in height, remain as silent witnesses of a time when the Sahara was a verdant territory full of life. This petrified forest is not an isolated case. Several similar sites have been found scattered throughout the desert, forming a mosaic of evidence that proves the existence of a completely different ecosystem in the past. Abundant rivers and lakes crisscross the region, supporting lush and diverse vegetation. Fossilized trunks preserve the original structure of the trees in detail, allowing scientists to reconstruct the ancient Sahara environment. Growth rings, bark marks, and even cellular patterns have been preserved in the petrification process, providing valuable data on the climatic conditions of the time. Number 9. The enigmatic stone structures. In 2019, archaeologists made a surprising discovery in Western Sahara. Hundreds of stone structures scattered across the desert landscape. These structures come in a fascinating variety of shapes and sizes, including crescents, circles, straight lines, and rectangular platforms. One of the most impressive structures stretches 630 meters in length, demonstrating remarkable planning and organization on the part of its ancient builders. The stones were carefully selected and positioned, creating patterns that challenge our understanding of their original purpose. Archaeologists speculate that some of these structures may have served as burial markers, but the true function of many of them remains a mystery. Their systematic arrangement and variety of shapes suggest a deep cultural or religious significance to the ancient populations who inhabited the region. Number 8. The mysterious Eye of the Sahara. An extraordinary geological formation dominates the desert landscape, causing amazement in all who contemplate it from space. From above, satellites capture impressive images of a gigantic circular structure that resembles a colossal eye observing the cosmos. With an astonishing diameter of 50 kilometers, this natural formation intrigues scientists from all over the world. There have been many different theories to explain its origin. Some have even speculated that it was connected to the legendary lost city of Atlantis, while others have suggested a meteorite impact. However, geological studies have revealed an even more fascinating story. It is an elevated geological structure formed by sedimentary layers exposed over millions of years by the action of wind and water. The presence of water-induced erosion in the desert raises intriguing questions about the Sahara's past. This region was not always the sea of sand we know today. The Eye of the Sahara preserves in its layers evidence of a time when the climate was drastically different, with abundant water shaping the landscape in unimaginable ways. Number 7. The lake that appeared out of nowhere. In 2014, the people of Gafsa, Tunisia, woke up to a surprise. A brand new lake had appeared out of nowhere in the middle of the desert. It was no mirage. The lake was about 20 meters deep and contained real water. Everyone went crazy with the news. People started swimming in the lake as if it were a public pool, even though they didn't really know where the water had come from. Some were even afraid it was radioactive, but it wasn't like that at all. The mystery of the lake has a very interesting explanation. A small earthquake probably broke a rock that covered a water table. It's as if nature had installed a surprise swimming pool in the backyard. It shows that under all that sand there is much more water than we imagine. Number 6. The submarine lost in the sands. In the middle of the desert, where the last thing anyone would expect to find would be anything related to the sea, one of the most bizarre discoveries in the history of the Sahara took place. A submarine, completely out of its natural environment, appeared among the golden dunes, leaving everyone with their jaws dropped. The underwater vehicle had disappeared years earlier, under mysterious circumstances. No one could explain how the giant machine had ended up there, right in the heart of the most famous desert on the planet. It was like finding a penguin in the middle of a rainforest. Something completely out of place. There are many theories about how the submarine got there. Some experts point to ancient military transport routes, while others suggest that drastic geological changes may have completely altered the landscape over the years. The mystery of the Sahara submarine remains one of those cases that leaves everyone scratching their heads in curiosity. Number 5. The whale graveyard in the middle of nowhere. It sounds like a joke, but it's true. There's a giant whale graveyard right in the middle of the Sahara. In Wadi Hitan, Egypt, scientists have found more than 1,000 ancient whale skeletons. And they're not just bones. They have complete skeletons and everything. 40 million years ago, that entire stretch of desert was actually an ocean called the Tethys Sea. With climate change, the sea dried up, turned into a forest, and then transformed into the desert we know today. It's as if nature had taken a 3D photo of that time and stored it under the sand. Skeletons are a true treasure for science. It's like having a time machine that allows us to study what whales were like in the past. Each bone tells a different story about how these giants lived when the region was an aquatic paradise. Number 4. Giraffes of Dabas. In the middle of the Air Mountains in Niger, someone from the past left an impressive work of art. 2 enormous giraffes carved into the rock. Each one is 6 meters tall. That's taller than many buildings. The most interesting thing is that these giraffes may be from a species that no longer exists. It is as if they were a photographic record left by our ancestors, only carved stone. To this day, no one has found the bones of these giant giraffes, so the mystery remains. Did they really exist, or was it just the artist's imagination? The work of carving these giant giraffes out of the rock must have been a lot of work. Just imagine, without modern tools, someone spent days, weeks, or even months carving these animals with impressive precision. Number 3. The Stone Age skeletons. In 2013, scientists discovered a rock shelter in the Libyan part of the Sahara that held an archaeological treasure. Stone Age skeletons that were between 8,000 and 4,200 years old. It's like finding a really old family album, except instead of photos, there are bones. The site was used as a cemetery for thousands of years, and the coolest thing is that it remained untouched for all that time. They found 20 skeletons, mostly of women and children. Each skeleton tells a piece of the story of how people lived at that time. These skeletons are like a flash drive full of information about our ancestors. Scientists can discover what they ate, what diseases they had, and even what the climate was like in the region just by studying these remains. Number 2. The Old Arsenal. All across the Sahara, archaeologists are constantly finding ancient weapons. Swords, axes, and all sorts of tools that people used for hunting and self-defense. It's like finding a cache of military equipment, only thousands of years old. Many of these weapons are made with technology that is still impressive today. People knew how to work with metal at a time when there was no YouTube to teach how to do it. Some swords are so well made that you can see that the ancient blacksmiths were very good at their work. The most impressive thing is that these weapons survived all this time buried in the sand. Of course, a lot was lost. Organic materials like wood and leather turned to dust long ago, but the metal ones survived, holding the secrets of how our ancestors managed to survive. Number 1. The Graveyard of Giants. In a remote area of the Sahara, researchers have discovered something straight out of a fantasy film. Human skeletons of gigantic proportions. The bones are much larger than normal, suggesting that these people were well above average height. The excavations revealed not just one, but dozens of these extraordinary skeletons. Along with them, tools and objects were also found in an enlarged size, confirming that this was not an isolated anomaly, but rather an entire population with unique characteristics. Most fascinatingly, DNA analysis of these remains shows a genetic lineage completely different from any other known. Now I want to know from you, which of these discoveries in the Sahara shocked you the most? Tell me below in the comments, and take advantage and check out another video of ours about scary discoveries around the world. So, click now to watch. Well, that's it, and until next time, Curious One.